Hey everyone, it's Paul from Ramp Up Marketing and welcome back to my channel. Subscribing to my channel will help you ramp up your online business and online presence using the power of smart digital marketing because every business is unique. And in this video, it's the second of a series of free learning courses where I'm going to help you become a better digital marketer by sharing some of the most important things you need to know about digital marketing right now. Today, we're diving into market research and some of the tools and best practices you may want to consider as you get into it. In this fast-paced world of online business, success isn't a matter of luck or intuition. It's about gathering and focusing on the right insights. In today's digital age, market research platforms are providing invaluable tools that really empower your online business to decode consumer behaviors, track evolving trends, and really fine-tune their strategies for maximum impact. So in this video, we're going to explore some of the best practices to help get you started, as well as some of the pros and cons of some of the platforms out there. So with that, grab your notebook and let's get at it. Now, before we begin, the structure here today is going to be covering several chapters, and we're going to be going over very clearly the different steps to consider as you're going through your market research. I'm structuring it this way to help you kind of guide you through some of the steps, but feel free if you want me to dive deeper into any of these to drop some comments below. So to start, chapter 1 is understanding the fundamentals. Now, what is market research? And market research is the process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information about a market. And that includes details about the target audience, competition, and industry trends. And online business owners can use market research to take and make informed decisions, such as identifying customer needs, if it's tailoring products or services, and optimizing marketing strategies to stay ahead of competitors. So why is research essential? Market research is essential for several reasons, and we'll cover 5 right here. Number 1, risk mitigation. It helps reduce the risk associated with business decisions by providing data-driven insights. 2, customer understanding. It helps in understanding your customer preferences, behaviors, and needs, which really is vital for the product, service development, and your marketing. 3, competitor analysis. It allows for your online business to assess your competition, identify the strengths, the weaknesses, and most importantly, the opportunities to differentiate. Number 4 are market trends. It helps in staying updated in with industry trends, ensuring adaptability to changing market dynamics. And number 5, it's efficient resource allocation. Market research really enables the efficient allocation of resources by identifying areas where investments are likely to yield the best returns. Next is looking at when should you conduct market research. And online business owners should conduct market research at various stages of their business. And we'll cover it in 4 parts here. Number 1 is business planning. So before launching a business, research helps validate the idea and define the target audience. Number 2 is product development. So during your product development phase, research guides, feature prioritization, and product market fit. Number 3 is marketing strategy. And regular research really informs marketing strategies, ensuring that they resonate with your audience. And number 4 is scaling. So as your business grows, the research really helps identify new market segments and expansion opportunities. So the next question is, where do you begin with your market research? So beginning market research by defining your objectives and questions. So consider the following 4. Number 1, what information do you need? And clearly state the data you aim to collect. Number 2 is, who is your target audience? And you want to define your ideal customer persona. And we'll get into customer personas in a future video. Number 3 is, how will you gather your data? Decide on research methods and tools. Number 4 are defining your goals. So set specific, measurable goals to help guide your research. Next is, what are your research goals? Now, market research goals should align with your business objectives. So we'll cover this in 4 parts. Number 1 is understanding your customer needs. So research to identify those pain points or unmet needs in the marketplace. You can do this with the help of number 2, which is competitor analysis. Evaluate your competitor strategies, find opportunities for differentiation. Most importantly, find where the current competitors are not meeting customer needs. Number 3 is product development. Now, assess demand for potential products or features before diving in. That's what this will allow you to do. Number 4 is marketing optimization. Now, this will really help improve marketing campaigns and your messaging over time based on consumer insights. So the next question you have is, well, how do I conduct market research? Now, conducting market research involves several steps. We'll cover 6. Number 1 is defining your research objectives and clearly state what you want to achieve. Number 2 is choosing your research methods. So you want to select the appropriate data collection methods, and this could be surveys, interviews, or web analytics. Number 3 is where you actually go out and collect the data. So you want to gather relevant data from both primary and secondary sources. Number 4 is analyze the data. And it sounds pretty straightforward, but you will want to use tools or techniques that help you analyze the collected data in an efficient way, because it's very easy to get into analysis paralysis with the amount of data that's out there. So number 5 is, how do you start to interpret those findings and draw meaningful insights? That's the goal here, is you can get a lot of data, but how do you translate that data into insights and make conclusions from the data to take action? Which leads us to number 6, implementing the insights. So you want to apply those research findings to business strategies or decision making. In chapter 2, we'll cover some of the types of market research. Now, we'll start with exploratory research. Now, exploratory research is conducted when the problem is not well defined or understood. And online business owners can use it to generate ideas, and that's explore new business opportunities, product concepts, or marketing strategies. Number 2, understand customer attitudes, gain further insights into customer beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors. Or number 3 is a problem identification. Identify emerging issues or challenges within the market. Another type of research is descriptive research. Now, descriptive research aims to describe market characteristics and demographics. Online business owners can use it for 3 things. 1, segmentation, and that is identify customer segments based on demographics, behavior, or preferences. Number 2, it's market sizing. Really determine the size of the target market. This way it could help guide you in terms of how much of the slice of the pie you can actually acquire. Number 3 is customer profiling, and that is creating a detailed customer profile for that target marketing, very similar to the customer personas we highlighted earlier. And the last type of research we'll highlight is casual research. Now, casual research investigates more cause and effect relationships, and online business owners can apply it to product testing. So kind of like determining if a specific change in a product or service leads to increased sales. Second is marketing campaigns. So you can really use casual research to help measure the impact of marketing campaigns on customer behavior. And number 3 are pricing strategies. You can assess how changes in pricing affect sales and profitability. Moving to chapter 3, we'll talk about data collection methods. Surveys and questionnaires, and this is where it involves asking very structured questions to a sample of respondents. Now, online business owners can use them for 3 things. Customer feedback, where you're collecting opinions and feedback on products or services. 2, market segmentation, understand the customer demographics and preferences. 3, marketing effectiveness, and we've touched on this a few times, but this also allows you to measure the success of marketing campaigns and optimize as needed. Another data collection method are interviews. Now, interviews are a little more labor intensive because they involve in-depth conversation with individuals or groups, and this might not fit every online business owner, but online business owners can use them for 2 things: qualitative insights, and that is gaining a deeper understanding and insights into the customer needs and motivations through these interviews. Number 2, product or service development. You can gather additional feedback on product prototypes or new features, because often the pain point you might get through a survey or through some other feedback mechanism is only the tip of the iceberg. Having these conversations allow you to dig a little bit deeper and uncover things you never even knew were there. Another data collection method is just simply observations. Now, observational research involves watching and recording behavior in a natural setting. So online business owners can use it for website usability, for example, where you observe how users navigate and interact with your website. Or if you have a physical storefront, you can look at in-store behavior and understand the customer behavior in the physical store, or you could apply this as well to the online marketplaces. Another data collection method, and one that's very critical, is online analytics. Now, online analytics tools like Google Analytics provides insights into website traffic and user behaviors. And business owners can use them for various reasons. Some of those are looking at website performance, so tracking website visits, bounce rates, and user paths. The other is conversion optimization, so really identifying areas where users drop off or are just not converting during the buying process. Another data collection method is social media listening, and this is another very critical one for online businesses. Social media listening monitors online conversations about your brand and your industry and your competitors. So you want to use them in a number of ways. One being brand sentiment analysis. Because we're such an online society, reviews have become very critical in business success. So measuring the sentiment of social media mentions becomes critically important. Next is competitor analysis, and really tracking competitors' social media strategies, customer interactions, and reviews. That's another way that you can start to monitor and understand strengths and weaknesses and opportunities where there are unmet needs. Another data collection is a bigger, deeper dive into competitor analysis. And we did touch on this in some of the previous sections, but competitor analysis really involves researching and evaluating competitor strategies, products, or customer interactions. And you want to use it to identify market gaps or even just benchmarking performance if you're releasing something new. Another is using primary and secondary data. And we did cover this at a very high level earlier, but primary data is collected firsthand, while secondary data is existing data collected by others that you analyze. So it's really important that online business owners use both. You want to use primary data because you want to collect the data specific to your business needs. So that would be through surveys, interviews, and observations. The secondary data is the access to industry reports or market studies or publicly available data that helps complement your primary research. Utilizing both primary and secondary should give you a very fulsome view. Chapter 5 is gathering competitive intelligence. Now, we did scratch the surface previously in some of the sections there in terms of doing that competitive analysis. But diving deeper into competitive intelligence is going to be extremely important because it involves collecting and analyzing information about your competitors, their strategies, strengths, weaknesses, and market positioning. And online business owners can use competitive intelligence to do 3 key things. One is identify the opportunities and threats. So you want to really understand where your business stands compared to your competitors and identify the market gaps or potential threats. Number 2 is product or service development. You want to gain insights into your competitors' products, services, features, or even innovations to help inform your own development efforts. And number 3 is marketing strategies. So you want to analyze your competitor marketing campaigns so you can help refine your own marketing strategies. Where do you want to lean in further or where do you want to lean away from? Next is how to collect competitor intelligence. We're talking about the importance, but how do you actually put it into practice? Well, to do so, online business owners can employ various methods. We'll cover 4 at a high level. Number 1 is just simply looking at competitor websites. Really study their websites for product information, pricing, or content strategies. An extension of that is number 2, social media monitoring. Now, monitoring competitor social media channels for customer interactions and campaign insights can really unlock a lot of insight on your competitors because you get to see how they interact with their customers and what they're really trying to campaign and push for in terms of new products or services. Number 3 is review analysis, and we touched on this before, We're in an online world, so customer reviews are incredibly important and coveted. You want to read customer reviews and ratings for competitor products and services so you can better understand customer sentiments. This allows you to really identify the unmet needs, where then you can jump in and take advantage. Number 4 are industry reports. Now, access to these industry reports and studies really contain a lot of that secondary data on your competitors, the industry, and market trends. So you want to stay on top of this and help integrate that into your strategy. Next is, well, now you've got all this wealth of data. How do you analyze the competitor data in an effective way? So we'll break that down into 3 parts. One is a SWOT analysis, which is an analysis of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Number 2 is benchmarking. Now you want to compare your business's performance and metrics up against competitors and see how you stack up. Number 3, and this is most critical, is identifying patterns. So with 1 and 2 already in place, you want to start recognizing trends in the competitor strategies and the customer preferences. At this intersect is where you find your opportunities to take advantage. Next is looking at tools for competitive analysis. We won't go into too much depth here because there's a lot out there, but online business owners can use a lot of various tools for competitive analysis. Some of those being SEMrush, which offers competitor analysis tools for keyword search, backlink analysis, and much more. There's Ahrefs, which helps in analyzing competitor backlinks and SEO strategies. There's SpyFu, which provides insights into competitor ad strategies and pay-per-click campaigns. And BuzzSumo, which tracks competitor content performance on social media. Now, this just scratches the surface. I do have a detailed blog post that covers the top tools for market research. There's a link in the description. Chapter 6, analyzing and interpreting data. We'll start with data analysis techniques. And this can involve 3 types. Quantitative data analysis, which is using the statistical methods to analyze numerical data. That's important to remember. You're trying to quantify and use data and research that has quantity. So you can look at things like customer surveys or other type of data or number-driven insights. Next is qualitative analysis. Now, this is where you want to interpret the non-numerical data. So think of interview transcripts or open-ended survey responses. And third is regression analysis. Now, you want to examine the relationships between variables to understand correlations. So this is where you start to look at, if A, how does it impact B? Or for example, if I increase price of a product, how does that impact my conversion rate? These are those regression analysis and correlation tests you want to start to look at. Next is really looking at interpreting the market research findings. After you've applied those earlier techniques, you want to really try to make sense of the data because you want to turn them into actions. So we'll cover this in 3 ways. One is identifying trends. So you want to recognize those patterns, those trends within the data, not just the quantitative, but the qualitative as well. From there, you want to start drawing some conclusions. Now, try to keep an open mind here because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself or have any type of bias towards one conclusion or another. So formulate a few conclusions based on the data analysis. And lastly is identifying key insights. Now, it's crucial that you identify the insights here that can drive decisions. So really think with a decision focus when you're trying to pull and define the insights you're looking at. And that brings us to our next part, which is how do you turn the data into actionable insights? So the way to do this is in 3 ways. You want to first prioritize your findings. So in the earlier step, we were talking about identifying key insights. This is where you start to prioritize them and focus on what are the most critical insights that align with my business goals. Once you do that, you want to take those higher priority items and identify the actionable steps to take. So you want to determine what actions or changes are necessary based on the insights I've uncovered. And third is setting objectives for those insights and actions. So establish the clear objectives in implementing the findings. With this, you're going to find there's a lot of data, a lot of insights. So the next piece is what can you use to help visualize? Now, there are a lot of data visualization tools out there. We'll just highlight three. One being Tableau, which creates a lot of interactive and shareable dashboards. There's Power BI, which offers data visualization and business intelligence tools. And there's also Google Data Studio, which enables creation of customizable reports and dashboards. You don't have to go down this path, but if you do have the budget for it, it does help visualize and really allow you to just focus on the actions you need to take. Chapter 7 is implementing findings and taking action. And now this is the most important part. So first is translating insights into strategy. Now we'll cover those in three ways here. One is strategic planning. Now you want to create a detailed plan based on the market research findings. You won't necessarily be able to tackle everything at once. So you want to be very strategic in how you plan and phase your approach based on the prioritization of those insights. Next is setting overarching goals with the strategy. So before we were setting goals by insight, this is now establishing clear objectives and measures of success following the implementation. The next is, and this is really dependent if you have a team, but it definitely applies if in terms of budget, is resource allocation. So how are you allocating your resources, your budget, your personnel to execute on the strategy? This is why really coming up with timing and what's realistic is important depending on the abundance of resources, that being budget or personnel you have on hand. Next is creating the market plan. So this involves three parts, one being segmentation. So you want to identify your customer segments. You want to then position how your business will be perceived in the market. And then lastly, which is the one that gets most of the traction, is the tactics. Determine the marketing channel and the tactics you want to use based on those insights to achieve those goals that you set out in your strategy. Now, this is how everything comes together and starts to connect. But again, when it comes to strategy and tactics and insights and data, it's not a set it and forget it. You have to realize that testing and iterating is going to be important at this stage. You've done all this work. You don't want to waste it. So this is where you want to test and iterate. So you want to do two things. You want to do some A/B testing where you experiment with variations of the tactics to determine what works best. So this is where you can test different creative. You can test perhaps utilizing the same content in different channels, but really using data to drive your decisions in terms of what's working and not working, because the assumptions you made at the beginning are not necessarily going to be the ones you have after the tactics are in the real world. Next is having feedback loops, because you want to continuously gather customer feedback to help you make improvements. Because again, you have to realize you're going in as the online business owner. You are inevitably going in with some bias. You're also a lot closer to your business, your products, and your services. So having that feedback loop becomes incredibly important in shining a light on where you can do better or where there's opportunities. And with that brings us to the last piece here, which is monitoring and adapting. So we did kind of allude to it already, but the data tracking, the continuous monitoring of the KPIs really helps measure how effective your strategy is, and you could adjust tactics as needed. Then it's also staying updated, looking at market trends, competitor activities, because you have to realize you're not just the one looking at your competitors are studying you at the same time. So you have to be ready to adapt, not only to what your competitors do, but the feedback you're getting from your customers to make those necessary adjustments. So by implementing competitive intelligence, analyzing data effectively, and translating findings into action, online business owners like yourself can really help make informed decisions to drive success. As we close things off, if you do want more details on top research platforms, you can check out my blog post, or for more discussion on market research mindset shifts and case study examples, you can check out my podcast. All those links will be down in the description. And I just want to thank you for tuning in. I do hope you learned something here that you can apply to your online business. If you found the information valuable, please let me know in the comments, and make sure to hit that subscribe button too. It helps others find these videos, and it also helps me create the right videos for you.